Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Bible in a Year. My name is Natalie, and today we're on day 204. Welcome to the channel. I am so happy that you're here today. We're going to be reading out of Judges chapter 9, Jeremiah chapter 22, Ephesians chapter 4, but we're only reading verses 1 through 16 today. And then we'll close out the day with Psalm 107, verses 17 through 22. It's going to be a big day today. Judges chapter 9 is a little bit long, but it is a very interesting documentation of history. So let's just get started right into it. Here we go. Abimelech, the son of Jerubbaal, went to Shechem to his mother's brothers and spoke with them and with all the family of the house of his mother's father, saying, Please speak in the ears of all the men of Shechem. Is it better for you that all the sons of Jerubbaal, who are 70 persons, rule over you, or that one rule over you? Remember also that I am your bone and your flesh. His mother's brothers spoke of him in the ears of all the men of Shechem all these words. Their hearts inclined to follow Abimelech, for they said, He is our brother. They gave him 70 pieces of silver out of the house of Baal-berith, with which Abimelech hired vain and reckless fellows who followed him. He went to his father's house at Ophrah and killed his brothers, the sons of Jerubbaal, being 70 persons, on one stone. But Jotham, the youngest son of Jerubbaal, was left, for he hid himself. All the men of Shechem assembled themselves together with all the house of Millo, and went and made Abimelech king by the oak of the pillar that was in Shechem. When they told it to Jotham, he went and stood on the top of the mountain of Gerizim and lifted up his voice, cried out, and said to them, Listen to me, you men of Shechem, that God may listen to you. The trees set out to anoint a king over themselves. They said to the olive tree, Reign over us. But the olive tree said to them, Should I stop producing my oil, with which they honor God and man by me, and go to wave back and forth over the trees? The tree said to the fig tree, Come and reign over us. But the fig tree said to them, Should I leave my sweetness and my good fruit, and go to wave back and forth over the trees? The tree said to the vine, Come and reign over us. The vine said to them, Should I leave my new wine, which cheers God and man, and go to wave back and forth over the trees? Then all the trees said to the bramble, Come and reign over us. The bramble said to the trees, If in truth you anoint me king over you, then come and take refuge in my shade. And if not, let fire come out of the bramble and devour the cedars of Lebanon. Now therefore, if you have dealt truly and righteously, and that you have made Abimelech your king, and if you have dealt well with Jerubbaal and his house, and have done to him according to the deserving of his hands, for my father fought for you, risked his life, and delivered you out of the hand of Midian, and you have risen up against my father's house today, and have slain his sons, 70 persons on one stone, and have made Abimelech, the son of his female servant, king over the men of Shechem, because he is your brother. If you have then dealt truly and righteously with Jerubbaal and with his house today, then rejoice in Abimelech, and let him also rejoice in you. But if not, let fire come out from Abimelech and devour the men of Shechem and the house of Millo. And let fire come out from the men of Shechem and from the house of Millo and devour Abimelech. Jotham ran away and fled and went to Beer and lived there, for fear of Abimelech, his brother. Abimelech was prince over Israel 3 years. Then God sent an evil spirit between Abimelech and the men of Shechem. And the men of Shechem dealt treacherously with Abimelech, that the violence done to the 70 sons of Jerubbaal might come, and that their blood might be laid on Abimelech, their brother, who killed them, and on the men of Shechem, who strengthened his hands to kill his brothers. The men of Shechem set an ambush for him on the tops of the mountains, and they robbed all who came along that way by them, and Abimelech was told about it. Gaal, the son of Ebed, came with his brothers and went over to Shechem, and the men of Shechem put their trust in him. They went out into the field, harvested their vineyards, trod the grapes, celebrated, and went into the house of their God, and ate and drank, and cursed Abimelech. Gaal, the son of Ebed, said, "Who is Abimelech, and who is Shechem, that we should serve him? Isn't he the son of Jerubbaal? Isn't Zebul his officer? Serve the men of Hamor, the father of Shechem. But why should we serve him? I wish that this people were under my hand. Then I would remove Abimelech." He said to Abimelech, "Increase your army and come out." When Zebul, the ruler of the city, heard these words of Gaal, the son of Ebed, his anger burned. He sent messengers to Abimelech, craftily saying, "Behold, Gaal, the son of Ebed, and his brothers have come to Shechem, and behold, they incite the city against you. Now therefore, go up by night, you and the people who are with you, and lie in wait in the field. It shall be that in the morning, as soon as the sun is up, you shall rise early and rush the city. Behold, when he and the people who are with him come out against you, then may you do to them as you shall find occasion." Abimelech rose up, and all the people who were with him by night, and they laid wait against Shechem in 4 companies. Gaal, the son of Ebed, went out and stood in the entrance of the city gate. Abimelech rose up, and the people who were with him from the ambush. When Gaal saw the people, he said to Zebul, "Behold, people are coming down from the tops of the mountains." And Zebul said to him, "You see the shadows of the mountains as if they were men." And Gaal spoke again and said, "Behold, people are coming down by the middle of the land, and one company comes by the way of the oak of Meonim. Then Zebul said to him, "Now where is your mouth, that you said, 'Who is Abimelech?' that we should serve him? Isn't this the people that you have despised? Please go out now and fight with them." Gaal went out before the men of Shechem and fought with Abimelech. Abimelech chased him, and he fled before him, and many fell wounded, even to the entrance of the gate. Abimelech lived at Arumah, and Zebul drove out Gaal and his brothers, that they should not dwell in Shechem. On the next day the people went out into the field, and they told Abimelech. He took the people and divided them into 3 companies, and laid wait in the field. And he looked, and behold, the people came out of the city. So he rose up against them and struck them. Abimelech and the companies that were with him rushed forward and stood in the entrance of the gate of the city, and the 2 companies rushed on all who were in the field and struck them. Abimelech fought against the city all that day, and he took the city and killed the people in it. He beat down the city and sowed it with salt. When all the men of the tower of Shechem heard it, they entered into the stronghold of the house of Elbereth. Abimelech was told that all the men of the tower of Shechem were gathered together. Abimelech went up to Mount Zalmon, he and all the people who were with him. And Abimelech took an axe in his hand and cut down the bough from the trees, and took it up and laid it on his shoulder. Then he said to the people who were with him, "What you have seen me do, make haste and do as I've done." All the people likewise, each cut down his bough, followed Abimelech, and put them at the base of the stronghold, and set the stronghold on fire over them, so that all the people of the tower of Shechem died also, about 1,000 men and women. Then Abimelech went to the Bez verse 50. Then Abimelech went to the Bez and encamped against the Bez and took it. But there was a strong tower within the city, and all the men and women of the city fled there, and shut themselves in, and went up to the roof of the tower. Abimelech came to the tower and fought against it, and came near to the door of the tower to burn it with fire. A certain woman cast an upper millstone on Abimelech's head and broke his skull. Then he called hastily to the young man, his armor-bearer, and said to him, "Draw your sword and kill me, that men not say of me, 'A woman killed him.'" His young man thrust him through, and he died. When the men of Israel saw that Abimelech was dead, they each departed to his place. Thus God repaid the wickedness of Abimelech, which he did to his father in killing his 70 brothers. And God repaid all the wickedness of the men of Shechem on their heads. And the curse of Jotham, the son of Jerubbaal, came on them. Pretty interesting. You know, I have to say, I'm reading along, and it is a wonderful, well, I don't know about wonderful, but it is a piece of history and a battle, and, the way they got through their battle. But, just this one little part, "Draw your sword and kill me, that men may not say of me, 'A woman killed him.'" I mean, come on. Abimelech. All right, Jeremiah chapter 22. There is humor in the Bible. All right, here we go. Yahweh said, "Go down to the house of the king of Judah and speak this word there. Hear Yahweh's word, king of Judah, who sits on David's throne, you, your servants, and your people who enter in by these gates." Yahweh says, "Execute justice and righteousness, and deliver him who is robbed out of the hand of the oppressor. Do no wrong, do no violence to the foreigner, the fatherless, or the widow. Don't shed innocent blood in this place, for if you do this thing, indeed, the king sitting on David's throne will enter in by the gates of this house, riding in chariots and on horses, they, their servants, and their people. But if you will not hear these words, I swear by myself, says Yahweh, that this house will become a desolation. For Yahweh says concerning the house of the king of Judah, you are Gilead to me, the head of Lebanon. Yet surely I will make you a wilderness, cities which are not inhabited. I will prepare destroyers against you, everyone with his weapons, and they will cut down your choice cedars and cast them into the fire. Many nations will pass by this city, and they will ask his neighbor, why has Yahweh done this to this great city? And then they will answer, because they abandoned the covenant of Yahweh their God, worshipped other gods, and served them. Don't weep for the dead. Don't bemoan him, but weep bitterly for him who has gone away, for he will return no more, and not see his native country. For Yahweh says, touching Shalom, the sons of Josiah, king of Judah, who reigned instead of Josiah's father, and who went out of this place, he won't return there any more, but he will die in the place where they have held him captive. He will see this land no more. Woe to him who builds his house by unrighteousness and his rooms by injustice, who uses his neighbor's service without wages and doesn't give him his hire, who says, I will build myself a wide house and spacious rooms, and cuts out windows for himself with a cedar ceiling and painted with red. Should you reign because you strive to excel in cedar? Didn't your father eat and drink and do justice and righteousness? Then it was well with him. He judged the cause of the poor and needy, so then it was well. Wasn't this to know me? Says Yahweh. But your eyes and your heart are only for your covetousness, for shedding innocent blood, for oppression, and for doing violence. Therefore Yahweh says concerning Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, they won't lament for him, saying, Oh, my brother, or Oh, my sister. They won't lament for him, saying, Oh, Lord, or Oh, his glory. He will be buried with the burial of a donkey, drawn and cast out beyond the gates of Jerusalem. Go up to Lebanon and cry out. Lift up your voice in Bashan and cry from Abarim, for all your lovers have been destroyed. I spoke to you in your prosperity, but you said, I will not listen. This has been your way from your youth, that you didn't obey my voice. The wind will feed all your shepherds, and your lovers will go into captivity. Surely then you will be ashamed and confounded for all your wickedness. Inhabitant of Lebanon, who makes your, sorry about that, verse 23, inhabitant of Lebanon, who makes your nest in the cedars, how greatly to be pitied you will be when the pangs come on you, the pain as of a woman in travail. As I live, says Yahweh, though Coniah the son of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, were the signet on my right hand, I would still pluck you from there. I would give you into the hand of those who seek your life, and into the hand of them of whom you are afraid, even into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and into the hand of the Chaldeans. I will cast you out with your mother, who bore you into another country, where you were not born, and there you will die. But to the land to which their soul longs to return, they will not return. Is this man Coniah a despised broken vessel? Is he a vessel in which no one delights? Why are they cast out, he and his offspring, and cast into a land which they don't know? O earth, 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 hear Yahweh's word. Yahweh says, record this man as childless, a man who will not prosper in his days. For no more will a man of his offspring prosper, sitting on David's throne and ruling in Judah. This is a heavy day today, guys. Sorry. All right, Ephesians chapter 4, 1 through 16. Let's see what this is about. And Paul speaking. I, therefore, the prisoner in the Lord, beg you to walk worthily of the calling of which you were called, with all lowliness and humility, with patience, bearing with one another in love, being eager to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. There is one body and one Spirit, even as you also were called in one hope of your calling, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is over all and through all and and in us all. But to each one of us the grace was given according to the measure of the gift of Christ. Therefore, he says, when he ascended on high, he led captivity captive and gave gifts to the people. Now this, he ascended, what is it but that he also first descended into the lower parts of the earth? He who descended is the one who also ascended far above all the heavens, that he might fill all things. He gave some to the apostles, and some to prophets, and some evangelists, and some shepherds and teachers, for the perfecting of the saints, to the work of serving, to the building up of the body of Christ, until we will attain to the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God, to a full-grown man, to the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ, that we may no longer be children, tossed back and forth and carried about with every wind of doctrine, by the trickery of men in craftiness after the wiles of error, but speaking truth in love, we may grow up in all things into him who is the head, Christ, from whom all the body, being fitted and knit together through that which every joint supplies, according to the working in measure of each individual part, makes the body increase to the building up of itself in love. In love. Speaking truth in love. There's different ways to speak truth. You can jam it down someone's throat with your stern voice and rules and laws or whatever it might be. But you can also speak truth in love, in quietness, understanding, listening. That's a way to speak truth. At least that's what Jesus did. I don't know. Psalm 107, verses 17 through 22. (107) 17 through 22. There we are. All right. Fools are afflicted because of their disobedience and because of their iniquity. Their soul arbors all kinds of food. They draw near to the gates of death. And then they cry to Yahweh in their trouble, and he saves them out of their distress. He sends his word and heals them and delivers them from their graves. Let them praise Yahweh for his loving kindness, for his wonderful deeds to the children of men. Let them offer the sacrifices of thanksgiving and declare his deeds with singing. And then they cry to Yahweh in their trouble, and he saves them out of their distress. Because he loves you. Truth and love. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by today. I am truly so happy that you're here. I hope you have the most wonderful day today. Please come on back for tomorrow, which will be day 205, and I will see you then. Bye.